Thanks for staying with us on The Real Story. Connecticut got not one, not two, not three, but 4 credit rating upgrades. That's after years of downgrades. In fact, when Moody's Investor Services upgraded the state's bond rating from A1 to AA3, it was the first time the state's credit rating had gone in that positive direction in 20 years. Yikes. So why the about face? What are we doing right now, and what do we need to do to continue keeping us trending in this right direction? We're going to talk about it with someone who knows all about this. Connecticut State Treasurer Shawn joining us this morning. Thanks for being here on The Real Story.
Good morning, Jen.
All right, so tell me, why the change?
It's a lot of hard work, blocking and tackling, and making smart financial decisions in recent years. So this includes increasing our rainy day fund and growing it to historic highs that we just haven't seen before, which gives our state more financial flexibility. The first month that I came into office, we put forth a proposal to restructure the teachers' pension fund, and that was successful in the first legislative session. That helps. Strong financial governance mechanisms have been cited by the various credit rating agencies, and a sense that Connecticut is just on a new direction fiscally with our discipline and just making smart decisions. And so this made presentations recently to all of the rating agencies ahead of our $1 billion bond sale last week, and just told the story of what we're doing right and how things are different, and we're headed in a different direction. And that has now been validated by all of the major rating agencies. And as you pointed out in your lead-in, we haven't seen that in over 20 years, these upgrades. And as recently as 2017, we were still being downgraded. So we have come through, it's not over yet, but through this pandemic, as one of the leaders of the National State Treasurers Association, during the crisis right away, I'm on the phone weekly with treasurers and really struggling how to meet payroll. And that's how hard they were hit, and our nation was hit. But here in the state of Connecticut, I can honestly tell you, I never spent a day worried about that. And so there are some things that we are doing right, and we have to stay the course with being fiscally disciplined while also making the smart investments into things that will help grow our economy, invest in our human capital in this state. And that's why I'm really excited about the last 45 days validation of the great work that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, some of these numbers we just haven't seen. A surplus of $470 million for this year. Our rainy day fund, $3+ billion. Yep. Governor Lamont said last week, though, that we have to stay the course, as you just said, and he says that's why we should not propose any new taxes. Give me your take on that. Is that a bad move for Connecticut? Because there are Democrats that are asking for tax increases.
I think we definitely need to look at our tax structure overall in the state of Connecticut in terms of property tax, income tax, and so forth. That is definitely a conversation that the state needs to have. But I do not think that in order to do some of the things that we are talking about right now in terms of bold legislation, that it requires a tax increase. I think it requires reprioritizing how we spend taxpayer dollars in this state, and not necessarily asking taxpayers to pay more.
Okay. What could we be doing? What can we do to stay on this path, though? So what would we do if we did increase taxes? Is that going to throw us off?
Well, I don't know that. So Connecticut, the truth is, we're one of the wealthiest states in the nation. And the gaps between the haves and the have-nots in our state is one of the biggest in the nation. So understanding that, the reality is there are those who actually have the ability to contribute more, and there are those who are living paycheck to paycheck or unemployed, and it's only gotten worse in this pandemic and economic downturn. And so I don't know that, the debate that's taking place as to whether or not in fact, I don't necessarily think it would be a bad thing in terms of what we're talking about now in terms of our credit position, because our credit position has been strengthened by the financial flexibility, by having resources in our reserves. And so, in terms of a number of the priorities that I would like to see our state get done, I don't believe require increasing taxes, but I do believe it requires a renewed focus on making the right strategic investments that will grow our state, our economy, improve our infrastructure, including our human infrastructure in our state as well.
I want to talk about this corporate call to action that you initiated, I guess it was last year, after the death of George Floyd. Tuesday is going to mark a year since that happened. So tell me about this corporate call to action and where we are almost a year later with it.
So it's actually quite remarkable. Following an op-ed I wrote a year ago, following George Floyd's murder, calling on corporate America to stand up and to get engaged in the fight for social and economic justice in our country. And the response from CEOs was overwhelming. They wanted to be engaged and to do something. And that led to me launching a partnership with the Ford Foundation and 18 of the country's most prominent CEOs and financial institutions to close racial economic disparities and do that in two buckets. One, I said, I need you to look in the mirror and the financial services industry to look inward as to what you can do inside to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I also need you to look out of your windows into the communities across Connecticut, across our nation, and how you could help close racial economic disparities. And was very proud to announce last week the culmination of more than 6 months worth of work in critical areas to drive economic impact in communities of color in excess of $30 billion, to have micro internships for Black and Hispanic students, 10,000 a year, to help develop the talent pipeline, to look at the wages of the workers at the lowest end of the socioeconomic strata and insist on rising those, increasing those wages, to, again, with the focus on closing the disparity, racial disparity gaps. And
can you name some of the corporations, just so we have an idea, that have agreed to do this?
Sure. BlackRock, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, The Hartford, Bridgewater Associates, T. Rowe Price, UBS, Fidelity.
Wow, these are major financial companies then, getting on board with this.
Absolutely. And this is really powerful. And the important thing that I said a lot last summer was that we can't just let the killing of George Floyd and America's reaction to it just be something of the moment. And it was not good enough for corporations or politicians to just have nice statements of sympathy and support, but that we need concrete solutions to close these disparities of all sorts. Very pleased our state legislature stepped up with the police accountability bill, but we need to do it in economics, in criminal justice, in housing, in education, and to make a commitment to be engaged in this work for the long haul. And I am hopeful that this legislative session right now, which is almost coming to a close, that the budget and the priorities reflect a sensibility and a commitment towards racial equity.
Treasurer Shawn Wooden, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Jen.
All right, that does it for us on The Real Story. If you want to watch these segments again, head to fox61.com or download the Fox 61 app and watch The Real Story every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox 61. Have a great morning.